Hey guys, what's up? It's Born Brawler welcoming you back to a special video, not one of our journey videos. So this is actually a final verdict video to give you my full thoughts on the game. Going to be going over my general thoughts, some pros and cons I have, and also definitely going over the statistical side to kind of give you an idea of, in your first 30 days, what all you're likely to accomplish. Now, granted, a lot of this aggregate data is stuff that's personally by me. It's not anything that's set in stone, and I didn't even get everything completed in 30 days. Granted, I got most everything completed, but there were a couple of expert missions that I'm still missing out on, so there are some tickets that you might have that I don't. And I know what y'all are waiting for is for me to say whether or not I like the game, is it worth playing, and it's a resounding yes. So I've already got a good bit of bias for the Pokemon brand, but even removing myself from that, the game at its core is really providing you a whole lot of value, and it's not asking you a whole lot of your time. I think everything from the battle to the mechanics and the collecting, all of this is already great, and just thinking about it in the future, this is all a fantastic foundation to build upon. And I think that with what they have, you're still getting a whole lot of value for what you're getting accomplished. So now we're getting to the statistical side of things. I encourage you to stick around because hourglasses are a huge part of the game, and also fuel packs and everything like that. So I'm just transferring over here to the items, so that way there's a better way for you to visualize the data that I'm about to tell you. So right here you can see I do have 651 pack hourglasses. Dividing that by 12, which will get you a single pack, ends up to being just above 54 packs. Now granted, again, this is not every single pack hourglass I have accumulated. Over the course of the journey that I had with my 30 days, I have spent some here and there to kind of get myself back on track in terms of my schedule and everything like that. So really, the packs that I probably would have, assuming I kept all my pack hourglasses, would be around 56 or 57. I could go back and check that number specifically, but this isn't really going to be important for the end result. And as for the wonder glasses, I have 256. Dividing that by 12 gets you just above 21 stamina. And again, doing a slight estimate and fudging the numbers a little bit, realistically, had I not spent any hourglasses, I probably would have been more at around 24 stamina, maybe 25 if I'm generous. So overall, I'd say these are pretty good stats. 56 packs and 24 stamina. All of this is stuff that you're saving, and you can keep this for new sets that come out. So if you don't want to go completely ham on the first ever set, you can just stockpile it. And to my knowledge, there is not a cap. That would be something you could look at and support, and I might even put a note here if anybody's gotten to that cap, but I really doubt that there's something like that. But I haven't told you that this is technically not everything we have. So I'm going to the shop here to also show you, you do have hourglasses that you can obtain with your tickets here. I'm not really building up the tickets because, again, a lot of this is meant for accessories and other items, but hourglasses are a part of this, and you can exchange 10 for an hourglass, and the rates pretty much match up. So in total, for each of these, you are getting 70 pack hourglasses and 70 wonder hourglasses. And so adding that to the total of what we have before, again, I'll try and keep something on screen to kind of keep up with the numbers, we would have 721 hourglasses, which divided by 12 will get you 60 packs, and then 326 pick hourglasses, or wonder pick hourglasses divided by 12 will get you 27 stamina. This is great because you are getting even more tradable currency for tangible rewards. You are able to use your shop tickets for things besides accessories and actually further your collection. And so again, getting into basically the assumption here, should I spend everything that I have now? Over the course of the 30 days, I would have opened 60 packs, 2 packs per day. And then I would also have these 60 packs that I can redeem with all of the current hourglasses I have, in addition to the hourglasses I can buy in the shop. And that would get me 120 packs in my first 30 days of playing Pokemon TCG Pocket. Now, over the course of 30 days, that's pretty good. 120 packs is nothing to sneeze at, and especially when it comes to collection, I think at that point you would mostly have the commons, uncommons, and even some of the rares that you would probably need in the collection. Think about the only thing you would really be missing at this point is some of the EX Pokemon, and of course, the greater rarities for the kind of illustration rares that they have. And I've moved my phone again. After opening all of these packs, I have 305 current pack points, 300 for every single new pack I would have opened, would get me a total of 605 points, which would be just enough to claim one of these EXs here, like a Charizard EX. So we would have just over 100 points to get something like that. And again, I'll go over this in a little bit, but I am not going to deny that the pack points are an excellent feature that needs to be in the game. Now, the caveat here is, despite getting 120 packs in your first 30 days, which is excellent, let's not deny, it is worth acknowledging though that after you get most of your missions done, you are going to be seeing a sharp decline in the packs that you get. So if we're not including shop data here, you will be getting your 60 packs for 30 days, just the same as I have. And then for each daily mission, you get 4 hourglasses, and those hourglasses in total will become 120 hourglasses, which will then divide to 10 packs. So in 30 days, you'll have 70 packs guaranteed. Including the shop packs in here, again, pushes it a little over, which is still great and gives you a good opportunity to get most of what you're searching for. However, it's still not going to reach 120. And to kind of return from being a Debbie Downer here, please understand that the value that I think the game is providing you is great. Not only are you able to have, of course, the opportunity to open 2 packs a day, it's something that is completely free generated for you, but the Wonder Picks in themselves can really accelerate your collection. If you're looking for a specific rare and you happen to get that, that's one less thing you have to check off the box. And people have seemed to get really good luck with the Wonder Picks. You can manage to get things such as the 2 or 3 star rares, and it just completely nullifies some of the stress that you would have to go through otherwise. So if you really keep and be mindful of your Wonder Picks, I think that this is a very, very good way to get your collection, and you're pretty much going to see it starting to bolster in no time. So to kind of summarize what I've gone over currently, really, I do think that the value you get for investing your time in the game does match what you're getting out of it. And I definitely think that with how the game is now, going into the future with events and other missions, you're going to be getting even more cards, you're going to be getting even more pack opportunities, you're going to be getting even more accessories to choose from, and I think overall the game has a very bright future. So to keep the positive train going for this current segment, let me go ahead and get into the pros list that I have written for the game, and this one is one you've heard me say a lot. This is an excellent game casually. The focus on collecting by design makes it a much more relaxing game and not something that's really stressful. There are not any demanding objectives or missions to really get done, especially if you're just focusing on going through the game day by day. And really, there is plenty of ways to acquire cards. You can obviously get them through packs, that's what's encouraged most, but Wonder Picks and the point system do allow you to kind of take a shortcut to getting to the cards you need. The second point I have, and is really something that I should harp on more, is that the presentation of this game is just great. It's really satisfying, and that's the best way to put it, because there isn't something super obnoxiously like hyper about the game. It's a very chill atmosphere, the music kind of matches that, the theming definitely matches that, it's extremely minimalistic and simplistic. I think part of that is what makes it appealing, and don't get me wrong, there is still flashiness in the game. Stuff like battle animations are still really cool, and of course when you open a pack and then you get something rare, it will show you that. And so I think presentation is something that the game does have in spades. The third thing I went ahead and wrote down is that the card art is great. Having a mixture of classic and kind of modern artists taking their interpretation on the Pokemon are really, really great to see. Obviously, it's going to bring out a lot of nostalgia from the older fans, and I think that they're definitely reaching their market for those people. And I do think that they are taking the greatest strength of the TCG cards, which is the Pokemon themselves, putting them in these settings, allowing them to kind of be more characterized, because Pokemon is a world that like we just all imagine wanting to live in because it's so fantastical. And seeing even more opportunities to kind of envelop on this is something I wish the games did more. But we definitely are seeing it here quite frequently and in great measure in Pokemon TCG Pocket. So as for my last point, I do think the game does have a bright future. I've kind of already mentioned this slightly, but there are a bunch of features that we're pretty much aware are going to be added to the game eventually. Things like events, obviously trading will be coming around eventually, ranked battles, all this stuff that we were waiting for to kind of give us more reason to play the game is great, because I mean, it's just something we're anticipating, and eventually we are going to get it. Seeing as the game has been out for less than a week at the point of me recording this, of course we're not going to see this right now. But I do really think that Pokemon and the developers of this game are going to stick the landing and get all of this set up. Now finally, are the cons of the game. So I don't think that there are a bunch of huge grievances that I have, but I do have a couple. The first, and I think is what is the most obvious to most people, is that gathering cards is pretty slow. And really, this is not in terms of the collection, this is in terms of deck building. It's obvious that the rental decks are meant to alleviate this and make things a bit easier for new people, especially for people who are trying to get introduced in the game and are just learning the mechanics. But that's not to say that it's still good that things feel so slow. And even worse is that these rental decks, they do expire. You only have a limited amount of uses. Something I think they could actually do to fix this is put a timer on the rental decks. So, say you wait 4 hours and one of your 10 uses that you would get will just go back up. And maybe they want to put like a lower limit on that, maybe make it like 3 uses after you've expended everything. But realistically, there needs to be something that gives people at least a little bit more agency in how they battle in the game, because that is a lesser part of Pokemon TCG Pocket, but should be given just as much importance and as much attention as the primary collection of the game. To piggyback off that, pack points are still something that I think is still a little bit too expensive, especially for the commons and the uncommons. Obviously, opening packs is supposed to get you through this hurdle, but let's face it, after 30 days, I'm still seeing cards that I haven't gotten a whole lot of. I still don't have a second Execute for my grass deck. I still don't have a second Articuno EX for the water deck that I've been making. There are pain points and they need to be addressed in some way. If they were to try and adjust pack points but not actually bring down the cost of everything, I do think that they should have temporary periods where you're able to purchase cards that are unowned in your collection for cheaper, and maybe during events have opportunities for you to get extra pack points or allow that discount for certain types of cards. So say right now it's Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody. So any spooky cards like your psychic types might be a discounted pack point cost. I mean, there are a bunch of things that they could do to get the system working. Because realistically, you don't want to spend all of your pack points on one thing. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to feel really satisfied in doing that. Especially for me right now, being able to redeem 1 EX with my current pack points. So the second thing I'd like to bring up is that despite the low maintenance, which again I think is a huge strength of the game, I can't deny that it doesn't really have a whole lot you're looking forward to. When it comes to getting to where I am at in the game, and the only thing really left for me to do is to finish up the expert battles, that's it. After I basically get past the hurdle, which is the expert missions, I will be able to go online, do battles against random people online, and I might have the chance to get tickets. Of course, bolstering your friends list is a huge part of that, so getting more friends and allowing them to do wonder picks for your collection, things like that, that allows you to get more tickets. But it's not something concrete that really gives you a reason to come back and stay in your day-to-day. Having an active friend list and participating in online battles is a good way to get those tickets, but the problem is that it's still really variable, and at some point you are definitely going to start running out of things to do. Now, before I move on from this topic, I do want to acknowledge that there is probably a group of people who are going to say, well, you're not taking into account the premium players. Premium players get extra missions, extra rewards, and extra objectives to try and complete. Well, the issue with that is that I am really trying to cater and talk to free-to-play audience. Anybody who's going to be playing this game for the first time is not going to jump into the game ready to pay money. I mean, I don't think most people are. So I do acknowledge that that is something that keeps people playing and keeps the people who are invested in the game probably happy. But looking at it from a free-to-play perspective, there could be more. And so the last con I have, which is difficult to explain, is the premium pass. So people who purchase the premium pass are undoubtedly going to be getting ahead of people who don't. You get an extra pack a day, which means instead of opening 60 packs in 30 days, you will be guaranteeing yourself 90 packs. And that is not including all of the missions that are giving you hourglasses and giving you tickets to get extra rewards and things like that. I think the one thing that I want to stress is that I don't even think that the premium pass is like evil, that it's too expensive and not worth the value, but I am worried that the inherent nature of it causes people to get into a FOMO state. So to keep up with everybody else who's playing the game, they feel pressured to buy into, or at least get the trial of the premium pass. And, you know, at that point, they'll decide whether or not they want to continue it. It is definitely just a very jarring part of the game, which just comes naturally with mobile apps, but is undoubtedly just a very divisive part that makes you wonder if people are really enjoying the game. And that's it. That's my full thoughts on the game. And just going back over it again, I think Pokemon TCG Pocket is a fantastic game. It's free to download with a bunch of paid elements that can allow you to kind of bolster your enjoyment. And I think the strength of it is that it does feel like you are getting your value out of spending your time because your commitment is already very low. And despite the fact that people who played the game before its official launch are probably itching for at least a little bit more content, I think the game is doing just fine and should be doing fine in the future. But overall, that is my final verdict for Pokemon TCG Pocket. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you're having a fantastic night or day wherever you may be. I hope to see you next time. See ya!